so much for joining me today on the Tiny Sessions podcast. It's so lovely to have you.
Thanks for having me.
No, it's so lovely. For anyone who hasn't heard of you or doesn't know about your space, which you're living on a beautiful tulip barge, which sounds completely unique and different to me and very different to the narrowboats that we hear about. Could you just tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit of background to you?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Beck, and I live on a tulip barge, which, yes, you're correct, it's a little bit different to a narrowboat. So it's actually, my one is actually 8 foot wide, and a narrowboat, I think, is around 6.8 foot wide. So I've had this for nearly 2 years.
Amazing.
And I've just been redesigning the inside all by myself, whilst we've been in lockdown. That's helped.
Crazy lockdown.
I know, I got furloughed, so I had the blessing of being able to do my boat up.
Being paid whilst you're doing it up. Perfect.
Yeah, it was handy. And then before my boat, I had a couple of vans that I lived in. So
cool.
I've been of alternative living for around about 5 years.
Oh, amazing. That's really cool. So where you lived in your van spaces before, did it help as like a transition into a narrowboat space, like not a narrowboat, sorry, into the tulip barge? Like, do you feel like you've gone from almost like not a small space, do you feel like you've got a bigger space now?
Yeah, it's quite bizarre. So I still really miss van life. In fact, I think I prefer van life.
Okay, cool.
Just because it's more freedom, and because I live on my own, if I'm stuck because the wind's too heavy or I can't move my boat, but if I was in a van, I could go wherever I want, whenever I want. So when you're stuck in your boat, you're like, oh, I'm really stuck. But do
you get a bit of cabin fever?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah.
Do you? That's really interesting. So when you're in the van, you felt like you had a bit more freedom to sort of just go off and explore, and like that whole thing of having your tiny house on wheels lets you do that. You don't feel it as restricted.
Yeah, because I suppose I can go see people whenever I want.
Yeah.
A vehicle / home, where I can't do that in my boat, because I'll be like, okay, I'll see you in 5 months by the time I've reached that. That's freedom wise. But then space wise, obviously my boat is a lot bigger. It's legal to live in, and I can have a log burner, I can have whatever, and it's I can, it's huge compared to the van. It's huge. But so you have your balance of, okay, so van life's great because I can go see people more, or more. I could go, go to the beach, go to the the hills, wherever I want to go in that. But I can't, I don't have heating, or it's a tiny space. But then on the alternative, I've got the boat, which is, it's like a palace compared to
compared to the van space. What were the vans that you had before?
So my first one was a Bedford auto sleeper, which I think was a 1985 or 1986 Bedford. So it was,
I love Bedfords.
It was so good. But it just, I took it to Wales, but I wouldn't really travel in it a lot because it's just so
wasn't very reliable.
And then my last van, my second van was I've still got it, an LDV Maxa, so it's quite tall, so you can stand up in it. Like,
oh, cool! And you still got that van?
Yeah, it's actually parked next to the boat at the moment.
Oh, amazing!
I've managed to find a really great spot where I can have both together for the summer.
That's cool. So you kind of have a little bit of best of both, that if you need to escape.
At the moment I have the best of both worlds, which is really, really handy.
That's cool. That's really cool. It's really handy to know as well, actually, because I think if someone was wanting to sort of live the sort of tiny space boat life, it's interesting to know, like, people might think like, oh, where can I put a car? Do I need a car? Like, where would it go? Like, because if you're then moving your boat, how does it work with your van? Like, how you can't move them both at the same time, I guess.
It's a lot of juggling, and Yeah, it's a lot of planning. So basically I've just done I just did like 40 miles. I was in East London and now I'm in West London. I did 40 miles to get to a marina, and whilst I was on that journey, because it was going to take me a few weeks, I was doing it slowly because of work, I couldn't have my van with me, so I had to park that at my parents' house. And I honestly felt it was the first time since I think I've passed my test that I've not had my van or car with me. So I felt even more alone than I already did.
Not having that thing that you could just go in and off.
And we, when I was moving it, we were having those storms a few weeks ago, and I booked some time off work to move my boat, and I was like, great, I'm gonna do it as a mission. And then the time that I booked off work, I couldn't even move my boat anyway because the winds were too strong, and one of the locks that I had to pass through was getting some work done to it with CRT.
No,
it was just a pain. It was just, and I was just like on my boat, real lonely, stuck with nothing, and I was like, why? I hate boat life, I want van life again. My van having these same woes, then I could have just toddled off and gone. Instead I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the countryside, and with no friends around. Hoping.
And bad weather never helps. Am
I going to get unpinned? Am I going to wake up with my boat down the river?
Yeah, definitely. Oh no. So could you just talk us through a little bit about your space and the layouts, like if you've got a kitchen and if you have a bathroom or shower or like a lounge area?
So when I first bought the boat, it was classed as a day boat, so there wasn't anything really in there. There was no heating. The kitchen was like minimal. The toilet didn't work because it was a sea toilet, and they blocked it off.
Okay.
So I basically had to gut it all and start again. So now I've got quite a big wheelhouse with a canopy over it. So that's where you walk into, and then and then I've got a really sweet double door that's to get into, like a split door. Are they farm doors or whatever?
Yeah, like the barn doors. Barn doors.
And then you walk into the open plan area of the kitchen, which I built myself last March. I'm really proud of my kitchen.
Have you got your kitchen, so is it like an L shape or is it just along one side?
Yeah, so it's an L shape. So as soon as you walk in, the doors behind you, I've got my cooker to the left. My fridge is in the house. And then I've got my surface area with I've hidden like a cabin. I've hidden like a dry store underneath my kitchen top.
Nice.
You lift up the surface, the kitchen top.
Then you can go in.
Pantry in there, and then sink with where I've got pump taps. So with my electric, in case you don't have an electric at some point. So
it's good to have it like that.
Yeah, and then I use this old science table for my kitchen sort of breakfast bar that goes against the wall. So I've got, which is also my kitchen surface. So
nice.
As well, which is cool. And then going along that side, I have my sofa, which I haven't completely finished yet because I built one sofa and then realized I wanted it longer, so I need to build another one.
Oh, cool. So you've built your sofa yourself?
Yeah, so I can, like, in my old job I used to do like upholstery and I'm quite hands-on.
Did you have to build like a wooden structure base before you could put like the foam in and then put fabric over the top and staple it all in?
Yeah, that's right.
Amazing.
And then opposite I've got like my fire, so in between my kitchen and my living room I also have my stove, which is an awesome Morso squirrel log burner, multi-fuel.
Oh wow. Oh, it's multi-fuel.
Yeah, so I can use wood or coal.
Oh, cool. And who's that from again, sorry?
Morso. And I've got the squirrel one, and it's got a cute squirrel detailing on the side.
Ah, cute. Oh, I love that.
Super sweet. And then next to my stove, my log burner, I have like a wide shelf where you can also sit at if you want to, with the same stools as the kitchen.
Ah, okay.
And then I have like a fold out table for when I need to do office work.
Nice. It's like a little workspace that's separate from everything else. That's really cool.
That just folds back down, and then I put my beanbag in front of it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then I've got my bathroom, which isn't 100% complete yet, so I don't actually have a shower fitted yet. But,
amazing. But you want, is a shower something that you've decided that you do want to have?
Yeah, so I've found this amazing ceramic shower tray, which is like avocado. So that's my shower tray, which is fitted and it's huge.
Nice.
And then next to that, I've used these like 10 by 10 pale pink gloss tiles with charcoal grout.
Oh, this sounds good.
And then on my floor where my toilet sits, I have these tiny mosaic, like mint green tiles with also charcoal grouting.
Cool.
So and then the rest of it's just wood, so it's I think I used medium oak stain. So
okay. Is it like slatted wood or just like wood panel?
Yeah, some of it's slatted.
Yeah.
So when the toilet's slatted and the rest of it's flat.
Cool. That's cool. And what did you do for your floor?
So the floor is the little mosaic tiles.
Oh, the way over. That's nice.
Yeah, and then I've got a gold like waste pipe thing in the shower.
Yeah.
And the reason why I haven't fitted the shower yet is because I haven't found the perfect one. I have found it in America and I can't get it shipped over. So I want a gold.
Oh, that's so cool. So is it because if you not found the perfect one because you're trying to find it, so you've got a gold shower head, or?
Yeah, so I want one that sits on the wall instead, because I don't really have that much height in there.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't really want to have like a shower head above my head. I want but there's one that I've seen and I need to get it, and I just can't find distributor in the UK and I can't get it over from America. But
oh no, we need someone to have it. I know what that's like when you see something and that is the thing that you're looking for your space, and it's so hard if you can't see anything that's similar or you can't adapt anything. All you could think about is that one that you found.
Have it. So I've got a couple of avenues I can go down now, but I'm gonna have it. It will probably just be fitted before I sell the boat. So that's the bathroom, and then I've got opposite the bathroom door I've got a built-in wardrobe and I've got like a 1960s like mid-century cabinet which has got drawers in.
Nice.
And then my bed and storage, which my bed's actually quite big considering my van bed I had to cut down to fit like lengthways.
Oh yeah, to fit into it.
So I cut my bed down so I can just fit in it. And then this bed, it's like 7 foot long.
Nice. You can lie like a starfish in it.
I literally have like 2 pillows above my head, and then I could have clearance from that and still not touch the bottom of the bed.
That's amazing. That's so good. That's so good. So is your bed quite high up, or?
No, I think it's just a bit taller than a sofa height.
Okay, yeah.
It is, well, no, maybe a little bit taller. Yeah, it's probably about 80 centimeters off the floor with from top of the mattress. But I have a crazy amount of storage underneath the bed, and I actually fitted an extra water tank because I was just like, you know what, I want enough water on this boat to last me.
That's a good idea. So you've put that underneath the bed.
Yeah, so one is outside, which is welded in, and then I've got that connecting to the new water tank, which is under the bed. So that flows into both, and then so that I've got like enough water now.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Oh, what a cool space. So if you've got like a favorite area of the boat, like some people like the kitchen because that's where they do their cooking and they love cooking, but then sometimes people like their sofa area because that's where they relax.
Yeah, I think so. I've got really big windows, like really tall windows, but I sit quite low in the water. So So when I'm sat in, I think kitchen is my favorite because when I'm sat at my kitchen table, like desk, I can see out the water, and if boats go past, you can just see them waving at me. But I sit
that's so nice. So you're quite low down then.
Yeah, but it's so good because all you can see is green and water. Like a lot of narrowboats that I've been on, the windows seem to be a lot higher, so you can see the towpath more. Or more eye height than involved in nature and in the water. So yeah, I think sitting in my desk, well, I say desk because it's at the moment I work from home as well as the office, so
sure,
it's actually my kitchen worktop. I just set up my breakfast bar.
Yeah, exactly, that sounds more like it. Breakfast bar.
Oh, and I absolutely love the top of my boat because I've managed to squeeze in all my solar panels on above the wheelhouse. So on my wheelhouse roof, so all the area of my main cabin is just clear. The roof is clear apart from a kayak. But yeah, I've got so much room up there that you can just sunbathe, do yoga.
Wow, that's so cool. So you've got like a roof terrace.
Yeah, it's huge. And then I've got out where my bedroom is, there's like a roof hatch with a big door that opens out. And I built decking, so that's a really nice, beautiful area too.
Nice. That's really nice because you've got both outside spaces then as well, within your house that any other sort of generic house would have. That's really cool. You've got everything, really. That's really cool. I read something about on one of your posts about storage, and that you've got some cool little kitchen storage and storage throughout your narrowboat, but particularly the kitchen. Could you just tell us a little bit about any tips for kitchen storage that you found?
Yeah, so I think coming from the van, which you are super limited to space, I'm a lot like this. There's a tiny bit of space here. How can I make it better? How can I use all of it? Like everything has to have a second purpose, I think, or at least two purposes. So after drawing a lot of sketches and plans about where should things go, I decided that the kitchen should be where it is now, which is the L-shaped kitchen. But I wanted a countertop which I could sit at. So obviously, I'm limited then to putting stuff away, where do I put my tins,
cupboard space. So
then I wanted to squeeze it into the corner, but I also wanted my kitchen sink to look out the window. So there was this, a lot of the work surface was going to a lot of where the kitchen meets the sink to the cooker, I was going to lose a lot of space. So I've done a slide door, so that slides behind the sink area, so then I can use two shelves, and then the top shelf I've made it so you can lift up the kitchen worktop and get into that all the way to the back. So that area is absolutely huge, and I just used a piano hinge, which is just a really long hinge. And that's my favorite part of the kitchen, all the little opening up, sliding things across to get into different shelves and different areas. I now can use every corner of the kitchen rather than just having things just getting pushed to the back and never seeing them again.
Not seeing them. That's really cool. It's a really handy way of using everything as well, and like you say, using those longer hinges as well to be able to add space, because sometimes the smaller ones are quite hard to work with as well, whereas if you've got just a really sort of long hinge, it makes it easier, I guess.
And it looks better, and you don't get any gaps in between from the hinge to the
definitely. That's really cool. So how can I ask you, how did you decide on this lifestyle? So you've told us about how you had time being in your van quite a lot, and now you're in this lovely boat. Was it just very natural for you to just go into these sort of cool unique types of spaces?
I think I was having a little bit of a life crisis. Because basically I've always sort of loved the idea of living in quirky spaces. When I was younger, I was always making dens and just creating spaces. But when I remember when I was 16, I asked for a caravan. I was like, please can I have a caravan and live in it on our driveway, and obviously that didn't happen. But I've always wanted to.
What a cool ask, though.
I wanted that. So can we get a crane and crane into the back garden? So I've always wanted. I don't know. I've always got this fantasy of living in something quirky. And then I suppose after uni, I ended up being in a band for 7 years, and we toured and traveled a lot, never really having like, always staying in weird hotels and, you know, sleeping in the back of the van and just, you know, that sort of lifestyle. And then that sort of maybe sat in my blood a bit more, and then that ended, and I was then you know, having to live in a flat. Well, I mean, I was in a flat anyway, but I was traveling a lot. And the partner who I was with, we broke up, and I had to move out of the flat. So then I moved to, like, another flat, and I was just like, this is not me. Like, I don't want to be stuck in this like thing in this house, paying all this money. So I decided I'd just buy a van and just live in that and see what happened. Nice. So it just came about that I liked the lifestyle. I was saving. I was in London, so I was saving like so much cash, living in the way I was living. I had more money to go out and see friends. So then obviously I just fell in love with that. Oh, actually I can minimalize my life a lot more, which is a lot easier. And I think over these past 5 years I've learned that I don't want to live conventionally. I don't want to live in a house. I would like to live in a house, but built a cabin in like
build your own little tiny cabin somewhere.
Eco-friendly. Like my carbon footprint is so much lower than a lot. I'm so aware now of like my water intake, my food. I don't want to buy food wrapped in plastics and trash, because I have to physically walk, like, I don't know, sometimes a mile to get to a bin.
It's more hassle for you on top of the already like
so I think I've sort of fallen into this lifestyle, which is now sort of my life, without knowing that it was coming to me. Like it just been like a slow organic process where I'm like the most, I would say, happiest that I've been knowing where I should go, but I'm also unhappy in certain ways because I live on my own and it's quite boring.
That's really interesting. So have you got like people around you who are like also on their boats, or is it a mixture of people, or do people come and go?
So right now, because I'm in West London, I don't really have that many. Everyone's in East London. Like, I haven't really got anyone around me at all. But obviously boat people are really friendly, so you get to chat in with everyone around you. But you have to move every 14 days on the license that I have. So I've got a continuous cruising license. I'm not so I have to move, which then, you know, some people might move the same way as you and you meet up again. Some people will. I just met this awesome neighbor the other day and I was like, which way are you heading? And they were like, I was like, oh no. So I thought I was going to spend like the summer with them guys. But yes, you do get people, and then like for now this summer's going to be quite a different one to last year, because last year there wasn't even the summer. Last year it was on lockdown.
Were you not allowed to move on the license last year, or did you still have to move?
No, it was fantastic. They put a lockdown on the boating community. You could move if you needed to, but you didn't have to. And I had the greatest spot because I was in Springfield Park in East London, and my van was next to my boat. And so it was really handy when I was doing my boat up, because I was like popping to B&Q in my van, getting all the materials, and then just walking 30 seconds to my boat.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
And then some of my van life friends, they parked on the street. So it was cool. So we got to unite and we got to have like some real good fun. And it's a really beautiful spot because it was a main road. No, it wasn't a main road. It was a free parking road, and there was a huge park, Springfield Park, opposite. So we had a great time. That
sounds lovely. Would you be able to like go back to that space if you wanted to, and like, does a different license exist where you can stay stationary somewhere?
Yeah, you can get mooring spots, but they come up very rarely, and they're super expensive. They're like, if you want a mooring spot in London, like central, or, you know, in the popular, it can be up to £1,000 a month, which is ridiculous. Because you're still living in your house and you just get some of them you don't even get water or electricity, you just get a spot, and I think it's just outrageous.
Yeah.
But yes, I can go back to that spot if I wanted to, but I need to stay around this area because I need to get my boat taken out of the water again in December. So
okay, so you've got to
have some summer in the countryside.
Yeah, that sounds nice though. So with solo life on a boat, you sort of touched on it, that it can be really lonely sometimes. What are the things that make it quite lonely, and how do you are there any things that when you do feel really lonely, is there anything that you have like as your go-to to like get out of that sort of feeling?
Yeah, it's super lonely. Well, it is, I find it lonely because I've been living on my own for nearly 5 years.
Yeah.
And I've had relationships in the time.
Yeah.
I'm just so fed up now of being the only one that makes the decision. If something is going wrong, or something, something goes wrong, I have to fix it.
Yeah.
Which is great because I'm so capable of that, and I'm such a strong character now. I wasn't when I first started. I was an absolute not a non-capable. I mean, I've always been capable, but I was going through a lot, but now I'm like,
now you feel really strong-minded and you're like, yeah, I can do that and I can make that.
Yeah, but now it's like, oh no, if you have that, you need to wash that up. You're the only one that's going to wash that up. You're the only one that's going to cook for you tonight.
Yeah.
You're the only, and then like, going when you come home from work, or you've had work all day and you just like want to chat to someone, or like, have cuddles or
yeah,
have that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so loneliness, and also it's like I like to experience things with other people. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my own space, but I much prefer to be connected with someone and experience everything with one person or two, people.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what we were born for. Like, we humans are born to be in packs. We're born to be it, like, not on your own.
Yeah.
So there's challenges within this life when you're living on your own.
Yeah.
It makes you stronger, or sometimes you might feel weaker, but within that weakness you have strength.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that makes sense though. It does make perfect sense. And like you say, if you're having one of those moments where you're like, oh no, like I've got to go cook dinner today. I mean, can you get like deliveries? Can you get Deliveroo where you are? If you were like, you know what, I'm gonna treat myself and someone's gonna cook for me and it will be a Deliveroo, even though it's not quite the same. Can you do stuff like that?
Yeah, you definitely can. I got a lot of delivery last year, well, when I was in East London, but now I'm in the middle of this country park where I don't think I'm going to be able to get a delivery. But it is what it is, and I really do enjoy cooking. It's just sometimes
human interaction, isn't it?
Yeah, human interaction is like the thing that keeps us all going. Like that is medicine. 100%. Like that is the best medicine.
I completely get that, because I've always been like that with traveling. Like I've done solo traveling, and then there's been times where I've gone, oh, you know what, like I'd love to go, like whether it was a friend or partner, like to go with someone, and then later on in life go, oh, do you remember when we went to this place, or when we did this? And like I think there's something really special about that. And like I'm lucky that I've got some friends where they go, oh, do you want to go do this tonight? And I'm like, okay. And I've always wanted like to do that, so it is really nice. But like you say, if you're on a narrowboat, like you haven't always got like your friends nearby, and then I'm guessing like you say, like people come and go because of the license that you're on as well.
Yeah, and at the moment, because I've like when I lived in houses in London, I lived in East London, so, and all my friends live in East London.
I see.
At the moment, if I wanted to see them, it'd be like an hour and a half on public transport
just to get there. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Like, to be fair, I took my friends out on Friday. I just opened a new restaurant with the company I work for, and we went out on Friday, and it was super great. We had delicious food, and I stayed at my friend's house who lives,
oh, cool. Yeah,
I have that, but then it's still, and then you get the worry when you're obviously not staying on the boat. You're like, is the boat going to be there? Is it going to be untied? So is it going to, like, is the wind moved it halfway down
I
the
see.
river?
Yeah, in case if you've not tied it properly.
Yeah, you know, you always get, when you have any time away from it, you always get that worry. Has it sunk? Has it burnt down? And then also, like, the whole thing of, if you wanted to go on holiday, like you have to move it every 2 weeks, so you have to plan that. And then leave it for 2 weeks on its own, because, you know, it can get stolen, it can get broken into, it can get trashed or whatever. There's always that. It's not like,
have people had their, like, boats, like, when you've been traveling, like, have people had their boats, like, broken into and stolen and things?
The crime on the canal is so big.
Wow.
It's insane. Like, where I am now, I don't think there's any issue with it. But there are certain areas where the crime is just so bad.
That's crazy.
And even, like, you know, in Camden, you'll get, like, the drunk guys sleeping on the front of your boat, or, you know, you'll have someone trying to break in at the middle of the night. I've had friends' boats broken into and stolen all their electrical systems. My friend, actually, Hannah, she fell asleep. She was asleep and
someone came in.
Yeah, she won't make the mistake again, but I think she left her keys in the door.
And
while asleep, someone came in, even took her purse, which was next to her, and, like, took a laptop and everything. But while she was asleep, she was like, I just felt so, you know, that's your space.
Oh, it's horrible. Oh no, you know what, it's really interesting, because that is something that didn't even cross my mind. Like, can you get like insurance? So, like, when people have a house insurance, can you get, like, a boat insurance that covers if someone's, like, taking your belongings?
Yeah, so you have to, every year you have to have insurance to have your license. So you can't get your river license. At the moment, I've got a CRT, Canal and River Trust license, because I'm on their waterways.
I
can't get that license, which is a 12-month license or a 6-month license, without proof that I've got insurance.
That makes sense.
And that's also covers fire, theft, damage, you know, sinking. Oh no. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen. Happens a lot. When you're in bed, especially, like, I haven't got it right now because I've just had a survey and it came back great, but before that I was constantly dreaming about sinking. You know, you're always thinking, oh my gosh, am I gonna sink?
That sounds like a really not nice feeling. I don't know if I'd be able to go to sleep.
That's why I'm like, I much prefer van life, because I've never had that issue ever. Like, when you go away, you're probably in your van because you're away in your van, so your home's not, like, left somewhere. You're never gonna sink because you ain't got water underneath you, like, you know.
You're not gonna worry about sinking.
Exactly. So
oh, is that all right? Did you just drop her? Are you all right?
No, I just hit my elbow on.
Oh, that's all right, as long as you're okay. I just saw was that your teapot?
It's my coffee pot.
Is so nice, this coffee pot. So Beck is having a lovely cup of coffee. And what is your coffee pot made from?
It's ceramic, but it's a drippy drip. So I have another compartment that sits on top, and then I put the drippy drip coffee bag on it, and then the coffee in it, and then it drips into this bit. Oh,
nice. Is that like you know, when you've got the drips where they've got it's like a funnel? Is it like one of those?
Yeah, I haven't. I've got this, but I have actually got. I've got this one to go on this, which is this, but I can't find it, so I'm just using the plastic.
Nice. That's so cool.
In the winter it's great because I could just have this sitting on my stove throughout the day and it just stays warm.
That's amazing. And it's ceramic. Where did you get that one from? It looks a little bit like a cement type texture.
I got it from eBay, which is like, I don't really buy anything new these days because is friendly. But so eBay, perfect. That is so cool. That is really, really cool. I definitely got distracted by your coffee pot then. It's beautiful. That's really interesting. I didn't even think about
sort of the dilemmas of boats getting stolen and things like that, and I know that it can happen with van life as well, and caravans and things like that, so it makes sense that it can happen that way too. So at least, I mean, you have to have your insurance anyways to be able to get your licenses, so I guess you've got that security to it, but it's handy to know that that does happen anyways as well. You were telling us earlier about how like you've done band work and various different jobs, and I know that before we started recording you were saying that you were picking up some fabric, and you've spoken about the amazing restaurant that you've been doing work in. You've done a lot of amazing sort of, for me, I think, career choices, like really creative choices as well. But I know that you are really open about the fact that you've got dyslexia, and you have quite sort of strong dyslexia. And I'd love for you to be able to chat to us about that, because I feel like this has not stopped you whatsoever in doing such amazing career choices.
Well, yeah, so I think it stopped me from exploring different avenues in careers.
Okay, yeah.
It's definitely helped me be who I am today, with huge struggles and
yeah.
So I found out I was dyslexic, so that I'm statemented as oh gosh, what am I? I'm basically super dyslexic. I'm like the top end of the spectrum. And I found out when I was in year 7, so what's that, 12 or 10?
About 10, 12.
Yeah, so it was quite late to be picked up, but I think that's because I was quite a shy child, so I'd always just be not shy, well, yeah, shy but quiet. So it wasn't just shy, I was actually got learning difficulties. Yeah, and it was quite hard at school because I was like a teenager coming into my teens, and all of a sudden you're not the same as other people. You can't read well. Why are you on like still Biff and Chip Magic Key when everyone else is on like thick books, like adult, good books. Anyway, yeah, so it was a struggle, and I just obviously got sort of I swayed a lot more to the creative side of academia, and I did like art and drama and textiles at school instead of the ones that you have to really sit down and have exams. And I think that sort of, it was hard because all I wanted to do was just like be normal and read books and just be, choice. And remember, like, my memory is quite poor, like, well, actually, it's not actually, I would say that I can remember small detailed bits.
Okay.
Sometimes I think I just like phase out slightly, and I just don't take everything in, or I sort of, the way I take things in, I have to sort of patternize it, so I like try and do like patterns instead of like information soaking in. Anyway, it was finding out I was dyslexic at that age was really, really hard. I got bullied by a teacher at school, which still to this day has huge effect on me. I just wanted to be normal, but now being of my age, going through all of the processes I did, I've now learned that I am who I am because of everything that I've done and everything that I've experienced, and what my, the way my brain is, I'm thankful of that. It's a part of me, and it has been a struggle, and I suppose I have had to go around the longest ways just to get to the destination I needed to, but achieved it. I know that just because someone's slightly different doesn't mean that they're different,
exactly.
Just because we're all different, we're not all the same shape, we're not all the same, we're not all the same, so everyone's unique in their own special way, and I've just learned to realize that I am unique, and I'm glad for my dyslexia. And before, it's taken a lot for me to say that, because before I'd be like, it's a really hard time, and it would upset me a lot. So so for me to be able to say that today and be thankful that I have dyslexia is quite a big thing.
That's amazing.
Like even now, like reading email, I've like my job's quite hard. Like I have to be, it's quite hands-on with the emails and and stuff, suppliers, and now I'm just like, you know what, if you catch me in the morning, I can write you the best email. If you catch me after 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. in a weekday after having a heavy day, I am absolutely shocked. I much prefer to be in work at 8 rather than 9, because I know that I can get most of my emails done by then. So I'm do that, focus. It's like my brain's super sharp and I'm like switched on, but I get tired a lot quickly. My brain fizzes out, words mumble up, and sometimes I have really good days and really bad days still. Sometimes I can't spell anything or see anything, like my eyes play up, and I'm but sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm pretty good today.
You can sense it, you can tell as well which are those days.
Absolutely. I don't know if it has an effect on like food or water in my system. Like I'm trying to learn a lot more about like the relationship of what you can eat and how you can help.
That's really interesting.
When I was at school, when we first found out I was dyslexic, my parents like went above and beyond, which I don't think really helped me, because I just was just like, just stop highlighting it. They went on loads of courses and loads of, they wanted to understand it, and then they got me on this medication called Effilex, which was I think some like omegas, like fish oils, and they tasted like absolute crap, but I remember having to take like 5 of them a day, and it was awful. It was going to help the brain. So now I'm sort of researching about food and the relationship it has for your brain. I'm like, oh, so there was some sense in that, but you can get it from other things. So I myself on it, but it is I feel blessed that I'm dyslexic, because I have been able to be more creative, which is I think every human is creative, and I think that's one of our gifts of being human. Like being creative is what we should be doing on a daily basis. So I'm more switched on to that.
That's really true. And I always remember I used to have friends who would say, oh, I can't draw like you draw, like I'd love to be able to draw like you draw, and like they could do mathematics like I could not. And it's interesting because, like you say, everyone's different, but if you're sort of more inclined, whether it's dyslexic or dyspraxic or that's just how you're inclined, it is a blessing really, because there's people out there who we always wish that we had what we don't have, until you get to that stage where you go, actually no, what I've got is really cool. And that's amazing that you've like got to that stage. It's I think it's a thing that comes with time as well, I think.
I mean, it's taken me 36 years to say that, but the grass always seems greener on the other side until you go, actually I'm good.
Definitely that's amazing. So have you found that you have to sort of have go-to resources or ways of fixing problems in terms of with your tiny space? So things like engines and mechanical things, or even just like DIY things in your space. Have you found that challenging, or have you been able to go, oh, I'll go on YouTube because it's a nice visual video and I can work that way?
So the whole YouTube thing, I think YouTube is wonderful, but I can't actually, when I watch a video, I can't really take it in. Sometimes I do. I don't know what it is it's my brain, which is like my super dyslexic brain, where I can just I don't know, I can see things in a 3-dimensional way, which from on like off like a 2D spec. So
cool.
I can work things out just by looking at the space, which I think is one of my superhero traits.
That's clever.
Because I've not really, all of this build that I've done with the boat and the van, I've not really made a plan. I've sort of drawn a bit of a sketch and gone, well, I just measure wood when I get into the space, because also it's not a flat surface. It's not like the boat could be heavier on one side to the other. I can't level. Yeah, so that way DIY is just, I don't know how it just comes naturally, but not naturally. I just managed to get along with it and budget, and I've learned a lot more. My skill set has grown since the van. Like, I'm ashamed of how the van looks now, because that was my first project I did without any help. So now I'm like, oh yeah, wicked. This is like my skill set's definitely strengthening. Yeah, and then you mentioned the engine. So my engine, my engine actually kaputted on me last year when I was on my way up to Enfield, so it died.
Oh no.
Yeah, it basically blew its head gasket.
Oh no.
Yeah, and then it took me it took me getting in touch with 3 mechanics to find an absolute gem of a mechanic. And in that time I like serviced my engine myself, cleaned all my filters, like, which I didn't think I would be able to do, but now I know how to. It's really easy.
Yeah.
And now my engine's been reconditioned, and the guy who was doing the work on it, Darren, yeah, he was really handy, because he was like telling me and explaining to me about the engine. So now I know a lot more, and I'm not super scared of it anymore. So I'm like, I can deal with this. If something goes wrong, I think I'd be able to.
You know what to do. So in that case, it was having someone who was like a professional, like for example, the mechanic that you found, and they were the ones who were helping you and showed you, and now you've got those skills by seeing and doing for like future times.
Yeah, exactly. I know some bits. I mean, I ain't the best, but
no, but you know the basics that you need. Yeah.
Exactly. I know what's what.
Yeah, that's really cool. Have you found anything where, like, when you were doing the van on the inside, like when you're putting all the DIY like sort of interiors and things together, like for example building the kitchen, you were saying that you just built it as you went along, so you didn't have to go to any resources, you just sort of visually just did it as you went?
Yeah, so the van, in my old company, we used to have this massive warehouse full of broken furniture and shit that we bought from the antiques. Most of it just trashed. So when I did the van up, I was parking in the car park whilst doing it up at weekends.
Yeah.
And I would use all the broken furniture, the broken bits of wood to like build stuff. So my kitchen in the van is just an old vanity cupboard that I've like took apart, used the doors, then used another cupboard to like
nice build. Like recycled and upcycled.
Yeah, you basically used all of the stuff that I could just find around the warehouse.
Yeah.
So I think I did my van build. I think it only cost me about 200 quid.
Wow, but that's amazing.
It has no electrics or anything.
Yeah.
It's just is what it is. And then the boat as well, I think it was pretty much the same. Like I bought some awesome science lab tabletops.
Yeah.
So that's what I've built my kitchen out of. That's what I've built all my shelving out of. Yeah, and that was like off eBay, found a really good source, and so it's like solid Iroko wood. Managed to pick up a couple of slabs of that for quite cheap.
Nice.
Yeah, so I do like to upcycle as much as possible, and there's some like old doors that used to be on the boat, and when I was building, I like built this little area, and then I managed, I don't know how it was, but this door, the original door, fitted perfectly in the thing that I just built without me even measuring it or even knowing
it was meant to be. It was meant to go in that space.
That's quite a lot with me. I don't even, just come.
That's cool. That's really cool, because I think sometimes people, if they're not that way inclined, like people can get really daunted by like building things, but they might not have the money to go and like get someone to like self-build and put units in and things. So if you're taking units and things and like placing them in, and you've got like the like bulk base of like, for example, kitchen, like that's a really good way of doing it, I think. And like you say, like upcycling, recycling, like that's really fun, and that's a really good way of doing things. I really like that. I love that. So at the moment you're in your narrowboat and you're in London. Have you got any ideas of your next plans, because you've got to move every 2 weeks?
Yeah, so I'm going to be a little bit cheeky and not move every 2 weeks.
Nice.
because I'm getting taken out of the water again in December for a few weeks, just to get some steel work done above the waterline.
Okay.
I basically want to sell my boat spring next year, because and I just didn't want to sell it with a little problem. I would rather have, because it's your reputation, so I'd rather just do it myself. So I'm getting taken out again, and then as soon as I'm getting put back in January, I am gonna then sell her. So I think I hope to sell her by March, and then I think then my plan is, because I'm single. I think I might try and do van life again for about a year.
Yeah.
And then see what opportunities arrive at my door whilst doing. And then the big plan is to buy some land or forest to build a cabin in. So I think next year will be the sale of the boat. Then get another van, do that up really quickly. And then
be in that.
And then travel and experience things more. Because a year really, a year will be fine to do another van life. Really. And then and then hopefully 2023 buy a forest.
Nice.
Or, a bit of land.
Oh, that's amazing. So you might be in a cabin eventually. That's so lovely. I like that you're going to go back into van life as well. And I think it's interesting because it helps, like you say, like you are single, so you can just go, I'm going to sell the boat and I'm going to go into van, which I guess the good thing of that is that if you weren't single, you kind of have to go, shall we sell the boat? And it is tricky if one of you does want to sell the boat and the other one doesn't. So it's cool that you can just go, I'm going to go do that and do that sort of van life again. Are you already set up so that you can work remotely, or how will you finance that year?
So I already work. So at the moment we work 2 days a week in the office. So I have to trawl to Soho every week. And then the rest of the week I work from home. So I got just tether off my hotspot off my phone, which is great. And then I've got power. First time in 5 years I have power in my house.
Amazing.
So I'm loving it. And then I'll just do the same with the van. I'll just have the same setup. I'll just do it really cool, have create it into the space that I know I'll only be in there for a year, put a shower in and whatnot.
Oh, amazing. I love that. So on the Stitcher community, I always like to invite everyone to ask a question. And the question that they have asked is, what do I need to know to live on a boat in the winter? Okay, so when I bought the boat in August. Okay.
I didn't physically move into the boat until October. And at that point, there was no stove, there was no heating, and I knew I had just done 18 months in the van with no heating, so I knew how bleak it is. So my first mission was get a good stove, aka log burner, and fit it before winter.
Anything.
So so I think I managed to squeeze the burner in. I did it all myself, drilled the hole through the roof, fitted it all. And the first day that I had my log burner in was, I think, the 3rd of December. And that first fire that I lit, oh my goodness me. I lit the fire, went out to Tesco's and came back, opened the door, and that warm feeling.
Oh, but it was like a hug.
It was like, wow, this is what home is. Home is warm. So always throughout winter, get a good stack of logs, get some good fuel, have a hot water bottle. My friend, honestly, I love it. My hot water bottle is my absolute best mate. To be fair, my boat gets so hot that I'm like sometimes sitting in my pants and knickers.
Oh, amazing, because it gets so hot. Is it really well insulated then?
Well, I think because the log burner's great. That make more so they do really, really awesome stoves. So it's
cool.
And and I've insulated it well. And it's one open space. So the heat good. But it can get hot. It's my main heat for the winter is like 30 degrees.
Oh, that sounds like heaven to me.
And there's this new invention. Has been selling this thing called a cold cage, and it's just, I think he made some out of like shopping trolleys or something, but they're round and they're small. So basically you can fit it into your stove, put the coal into the coal cage, and then it's more compact rather than just putting a whole bunch of wood or coal out. And then they move around, and some don't burn, some do burn. This like utilizes the space and keeps
burns it better.
Yeah, it was like, I think like 20 quid, and it's the best thing because at night I don't use wood, I use coal because it just burns until the morning.
Oh wow.
And coal cage literally is spot on.
A coal cage. So can we just go online and just type coal cage in and it will come up?
Coal cage. I think there's only one guy that makes them.
Wow.
What a legend.
That's cool. Oh, I like that. That's one of those like gold dust tips. That's really, really helpful.
What else did I say? Always get some good thick socks. Totally get thick socks. Nobody likes cold feet.
No, that's true. Keep your head and your feet warm. And I think with socks as well, I know that in my time in Scandinavia they always say have 100% wool socks because anything else won't keep you warm.
And it's breathable too.
Yeah, definitely. You can wear them when you're in bed and keep cozy.
Amazing. On my feet in bed, they always get like pushed off.
Do they? They always slip off. I always wake up being too hot if I have socks on my feet, unless it's really, really cold. But saying that, I need to practice what I preach and have the 100% wool ones on, and then I probably won't. Great. So sustainability wise, we always like to ask our guests a question at the very end of the podcast. And that question is, what do you wish that you or we had more of sustainability wise? Oh my goodness. It's a big question, isn't it?
I wish that more people would learn how to forage. Yeah. And I wish that we as the people didn't have fluoride in our water.
Yes That is a perfect answer. That's so true. If we just didn't have the fluoride in our water in the first place.
Yeah, we don't need it. It's in your brain. And I think get out there and learn how to forage more. Like everything's out. I like this year I've been cooking with as much as possible, like as forage stuff, like nettles, like abundant. It's as abundant. You can't have them now because they've started flowering, but they're super incredible for like vitamins and minerals. So just like forage more and cook with it.
Yeah, I like that. Have you if there's people who haven't ever foraged before and don't know where to start and like don't want to grab the wrong like berry and things like that, have you got any like books or anything that like you'd say as a go-to for people who are like completely new to foraging?
Yeah, so there's one called The Forager's Calendar.
Okay.
That's from John Wright.
Okay.
I've got another one. One sec. Let me just get it because I need to turn it. And then there's a little one from Colin Gem, and it's called Food for Free, and it's just like an A to B book, and it tells you like what season, what month, what they look like, little picture. And then there's loads of good people to follow on Instagram, like Forage Fern. There's a woman called Fern foraging.
Oh, Fern. Cool.
But yeah, definitely start small. Don't go too big.
Yeah, just do like simple things as well, isn't it? Like you say, like with the nettles are everywhere, and like you can get. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Oh, that's really cool. That's a really, really good answer. Oh, can you just remind me what your Instagram handle is for people to come and see you?
Yeah, my Instagram name is Beckspoke.
Beckspoke. Perfect. Perfect. Well, Beck, thank you so much for joining me today on the Tiny Sessions podcast. For anyone who wants to find out more about Beck, her Instagram is at Beckspoke. And yeah, just a big thank you for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's been awesome. It's been really nice chatting. Thank you.